Marfoogle News going live in 3, 2, 1. All right, what is going on, guys? It is Adam McKay Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. We've got some very, very concerning stories, but second, very, very kind of head-scratching stories here as well. So we're going to talk about that. But first of all, UK sees absolutely no evidence that Russia's Putin is interested in a negotiated peace with Ukraine. That was the MI6, the spy agency of the UK, saying that essentially they think that there will be no peace. Now, what I see is, and I want to say this in a slight way, I mean, this is sort of propaganda, but at the same time, it's a seed in people's head that, hey, what's coming next is because there is no peace, right? We're seeing them line up for World War III. This is going to be very, very apparent very, very soon. We have some stories later that connect to this. It's every single day. There's one more thing. So we'll talk about that here in a minute. MI6 Chief Richard Moore said on Friday that he says no evidence that Russian President Vladimir Putin has any interest in a negotiated peace. Now, if you think about what that means, no peace, if he's not interested in a peace deal, that means he's going to keep going. In NATO's eyes, they believe that that is going to come and encroach them once he takes all of Ukraine. Everybody in the entire world has spent a ton of money to essentially support Ukraine this whole time. Do you think that this is going to end in some sort of after Vietnam, after so many years, they just say, I guess it was just wasted and they leave? I don't think so, and that's mostly because of the minerals and the different resources that are in Ukraine. This is going to be a war for a very long time if it does not escalate. We're going to talk about so many more things that connect in with this, but this is just another seed in your head that tells you they are setting the people up for no peace, for more war. Before we move on, make sure to go check out marfooglenews.com/EMP. This is a device that can protect you against not only EMP strikes, but also a CME from the sun. The sun is strangely waking up. I don't know if you guys have seen this. We, of course, covered it the other night. They're saying strangely, instead of coming down off the peak off of solar cycle 25, it's actually waking up. So that's one thing to think about, but also all of our adversaries teaming up, having lunch together, going, duck hunting and probably high-fiving and eating bagels. Whatever they do, I don't know, getting implants of, livers, I don't know. But one thing I do know is that you can protect yourself with an EMP shield. You can protect your cars, trucks, motorcycles, boats, generators, pretty much anything you own that you want to keep running after an EMP strike or a CME. And it's very, very easy to do so. And you're getting the same technology that, of course, agencies like DHS, DOD, the Department of War, FBI, and many others are now using under, obviously, a huge contracts all over. So make sure to go over marfooglenews.com/EMP and make sure to use the code MARF. Let's bring in my co/internet brother, Dex James. What is going on and how are you doing today?
Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I'm doing just fine.
So we have I don't know. This is a head scratcher. The president is blocking a $400 million military package to Taiwan. What do you think about this?
Well, it's interesting because, we're going to talk a little bit about other things that we're holding back on in a moment. And there's some excuses there, too. But they're trying to blame this one on the potential meeting with Xi. So he didn't say the deal was off. He just said it hadn't been finalized and postponed it. And I guess they're suggesting that it may be part of his negotiation tactics with Xi. But yeah, 400 million of potential gear that was going to be an military aid package for Taiwan. Now, when they phrase it like that, a military aid package, that sort of scratches my head and makes me ask the question, is it really aid or are they buying it? Because of all the countries that has money, they certainly should have enough money to buy $400 million in arms from us, not ask us to give them aid. But the term says aid, so I'm assuming that is taxpayer funded.
So keep this in mind for the next story, which is that the U.S. is quietly pausing some arms sale to Europe. Now, these are sales. These are not, these are not gifts. We can all understand, especially under the current president's opinion and many of our own, that, we're not here to gift the entire world protection. It's not our job to protect the entire world. Obviously, others have valid points as far as if you make pacts with people and there is security guarantees and things that we have with places in the world, and some a lot poorer than the United States, that we can put up to try to help. Our argument there is moot right now, because right now they're actually stopping even the sales of weapon. Catch what's happening here. They just blocked a $400 million package out to Taiwan. We know from military members and even military members in our audience, active duty military members, that there were extreme stockpiling issues during the last 4 years when we were sending everything over to Ukraine. They said they could see the bottom of the floor, basically, the bottom of the barrel of our weapons in certain aspects, right? But now they're pausing some of these, and they're doing it extremely quietly. This tells me that they are getting ready for something. And the alarming part is when you see something like this, there's always something in the back of your head that says, is this because something's about to happen really, really soon? If you have been following all of the news that's been happening, especially the last couple of weeks, it really appears like something is about to pop off. Now, my guess, and I've been saying that my guess is 6 months to 9 months, but as I explained last night, this is real deal. Like, this isn't fear-mongering at this point. This is 8-9 years of watching this, and now it's coming together. It is all about to start, and the proof will be in the pudding. And unfortunately, I don't think the pudding is that far away. So it says the first clue that something had changed in the U.S. approach to selling military equipment to Europe came as Denmark neared a decision on the purchase of a multi-billion-dollar air defense system. For weeks, American and French negotiators had aggressively pursued the deal, but as the deadline approached, the Pentagon suddenly lost interest. Again, this is all of a sudden. Something has changed. It says, we couldn't understand why. A contractor who had been tracking the discussions told me it seemed like a no-brainer, but they just weren't into it. Then on a call earlier this month with State Department Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense Elbridge Colby said that he didn't believe in the value of certain military sales, according to two administration officials with knowledge of the discussion. He added that he didn't like the idea of selling Patriots, which can intercept incoming missiles. Do you catch the wording here? He didn't like the idea of selling Patriots, which can intercept incoming missile. Dex, think about this in the aspect of, like, what is the president immediately trying to get done? What are they trying to look for the contractors to build?
We obviously the Golden Dome, but missile defense is a key part of the initiative going forward. And as he continued in that quote, he made the comment that they're in short supply. Well, technically, the U.S. has only about 25% of the missile intercepts needed for the Pentagon's own military plans. So, yeah, we're in short supply. If we only have 25% of what we need for our plans, all of a sudden it doesn't make a lot of sense to be selling them off to other countries because we need them. And there's an obvious reason why we need them, not because everything's peaceful and we can go get by with just a few. We're planning on they're planning on needing them in a big way.
So if people are a bit slow about why they renamed the Department of Defense now the Department of War, I think it's going to be painfully clear here really, really soon that we are about to get into a massive war. Now, even if people think that it's going to happen how it happens, which Russia will go to war with NATO first, which we'll talk about later, a third country is going to invoke Article 4, Estonia. You had Romania just the other day, and then before that, Poland. I knew when I saw Poland prime minister or president stand up there with all of NATO, including Japan and Australia behind him, and talk about how this is, this was a deliberate attack and this and that. I knew that there was more coming, and now we're seeing it. Romania, Estonia, all of this. And then think about this in the terms of what is going on. The president has said this whole time, and he's locked down. Now there's several cities with National Guard in it. There is a border that is locked down tighter than it has ever been before. We have destroyers watching our freaking borders. We have destroyers lined up outside of Venezuela. We have stuff lined up in Europe. We have stuff lined up in the South China Sea. We have an entire freaking situation here that people are mostly unaware of. Most 9-to-5 people that are the kind of people like, oh, I don't even like watching the news because it's just all negative. I try not to watch the news. Well, those people that try not to watch the news and don't know about the incoming war, they're not going to have any idea to say, I don't know, buy stuff and be prepared for it. That's why when there's huge disasters or when there are these kinds of wars or any country that has had an unexpected war, everybody is unprepared. People steal from each other. People loot. People basically create chaos. And that's something I'm sure some of our adversaries would absolutely love, especially right now. It is very clear that China, Russia, all of these guys are absolutely teamed up. But more than that, it's very, very clear that they are not going to settle for number 2 and 3. It's just every last thing that they've done sanction-wise hasn't worked. And the wording coming out of NATO, the wording coming out of the United States, the wording coming out of our adversaries is this is going forward. We've been saying it for years. This isn't a I told you so. This is I'm telling you so. Please, guys, please think about this. Now, mind you, there's another piece of all of these things that are going on. Right here in the United States, we have people debating whether, we're going to have some sort of civil conflict. Now there's a debate. New York Times just published yesterday or the day before. I forget which day it was. We covered that essentially all of these adversarial countries are the ones pushing all of the different theories about Kirk. And now there's a lot of questions, and we'll talk about this over the next couple days, but we talked about it this week, about the whole note from the guy, and now people are breaking it apart and saying, man, this looks like Gen X law enforcement rather than Gen Z who just did this crime. It just doesn't sit right? So if there is any chance that some of this stuff is manufactured, really think about why it's being manufactured. Think about what is happening in our country, and then think about what just happened. All of a sudden, the government is not even sending stuff to its allies. That to me should be a really big red flag that something may have just changed behind the scenes. It may have even had to do with Kirk or something else. So really think about that. And this is a pretty crazy thing because a lot of people are worried about the president and other leaders that are going to be at Charlie Kirk's memorial. This memorial is going to be held in a massive, massive, massive venue. A public memorial service for conservative activist Charlie Kirk, who was taken out in Utah on September 10th, will be held on September 21st. In Arizona, Turning Point USA announced the nonprofit which advocates for conservative politics on high school, college, and university campuses. In a post on X, said that the morning of an event to honor its co-founder Kirk's life would be held in Glendale. And this place that they're holding it, it is going to be a level. Dex, do you remember? It's a level 1 security, right?
It's there. Yeah, the memorial is going to take place at the State Farm Stadium in Glendale, which is the home of the NFL Arizona Cardinals. It's the premier multi-purpose venue, as they call it on their website. It has seating for 63,000, but it's expandable to 73,000 for larger events like this type of an event. Retractable roof, etc. 20,000 parking spaces. So very large amount of square feet, 1.7 million square feet to host a very large event. I also, if you look at that picture of the stadium, you can see a huge grassy field out there. I almost think they'd probably be overflow there, depending on how many people attend. But speaking of attendance, so this starts Sunday morning. I think they open the doors at 8, or the service starts at 8, but the broadcasting programming is going to start at 11, and that's Mountain Standard Time. So Mountain Time for those of you who do the conversion where you live, 11 a.m. Mountain Time if you want to watch. And Trump will be there. JD Vance will be there. Rubio will be there. I've heard that Trump's going to speak. I'm sure JD Vance is going to speak, and I'm sure Erica is going to speak as well as others.
Or as I call him, JP Vance. Last night, if you didn't know, I was putting VP and JD together, and I ended up saying it 15 times. Oh, man. Anyways, and I know his name. I was just burning the candle at both ends over the last 2 weeks with sick kids. So either way, the other thing is the security level on this thing, the people in attendance. This is something that concerns people, but it will have, that at least the same kind of clearance. Anything that the president does, I wonder if we're going to see any additional security measures. I bet there's going to be extra bomb dogs out. You look at an event like this and you look at a potential disaster if they don't do it right. So I sure hope that they've rearranged the staff at Secret Service, because honestly, they didn't do too well in Butler. All right, we're going to talk about all of the rest of what's going on. We have really, really insane breaking news today that Estonia is now saying that they did an incursion. Russia incurred into their country. Now they are calling for an Article 4. That's the third one. So we'll talk about that here in just a moment. Again, make sure to join us. You just have to stay in the chat. If you're already here, you'll be ported over automatically. If you're watching the replay, all you have to do is click here. Be safe, be prepared, and Marf out.